guys, welcome back. My name is Blair Hampton and this is It's a Book, my YouTube channel where I discuss all things reading, writing, love of the craft, and my journey to becoming a self-published author. Hi everybody, welcome back to this very special episode of It's a Book. I am going to read to you an excerpt from my debut novel, In Search of Shadows, which is book 1 in Lee's Impractical Machine Shop series. I hope that I can entice you to purchase a copy. The link is in my bio, and let me know what you think of the story once you read it. I'm excited to talk about science, STEM, and metaphysics. So let's get into it. This is chapter 11, titled The Shadows. Jaina and I hold our breaths. I don't know what I expected, but I thought something would happen once I plugged the electrical cord into the wall. The machine just sits there, as cold and unconscious as it had been prior to me adding the nuclei. What is comet nuclei made of? Jaina asked. Gases, rock, dust. I scratched my scalp. Nothing special, I guess, but the nuclei from the January comet must be different, even though the machine still isn't working. Jaina rubs her arms. It's time for bed, Danny. No, I shout, startling her. I lower my voice. We can't give up. Do you think Garrett Morgan or Mary Anderson gave up before they finally found success? She yawns. I don't even know who those people are. She shivers. It's freezing all of a sudden. I am cold too. I stand and go over to the window to make sure it's shut. Outside, the trees along the sidewalk sway violently. The moon glows so brightly, it reflects off the night sky, turning it into a creamy gray blanket that stretches as far as my eyes can see. A lone white pigeon glides down the street. It is late at night and I'm spooked by its presence. The street lamps and then the ceiling light in Grandpa's room dim and then completely go out, plunging the world into complete darkness. Outside the door, Woofus whimpers. The bulb on the machine flashes on. It shines brightly, an amber hue unlike any I'd ever seen before. Transfixed, Jaina and I stare at the copper cube as the light in the room and the ones outside blink on and off. Danny? The only other time I've heard Jaina call me this was when she'd learned from her parents that my grandpa had died. While my mom and dad went to the funeral home to make arrangements, I left my house and walked for a very long time with no idea of where I was going. No plan, no hypothesis. I don't remember breaking into the middle school or sitting at one of the 4-person workstations in the biology lab. I ignored the dozens of calls from my parents to my cell phone. I didn't realize how much time had passed or how many people were looking for me. Jaina found me sitting there, fresh tears in my eyes, fingering Grandpa's old utility knife. I smelled her baby powder body spray before I knew she was there. All she said was, Danny. She didn't say anything more, just slid onto the stool beside me and sat with me until I finally decided it was time to go home. Now, as we sit in my dead grandfather's room, the moments that pass between us are just as full as those silent hours in the biology lab. We are in the midst of something monumental. We just don't know or understand what. Instead of sorrow, we are filled with excitement. Danny, Jaina says again. I look at my friend and see her outstretched hand. It feels weird grabbing it, but I leave my spot at the window and kneel down to rejoin her on the floor. The amber light from the spiral bulb illuminates our faces. I feel a sticky, warm heat on my face. Turn it off, Jaina says. Her breath makes little clouds in the air as she speaks. Wait, let's just see. Jaina shivers almost violently now. She tightens the belt on her robe. Turn it off. I am scared now. I reach forward to unplug the machine but fall back when the ceiling light comes back on. A whooshing sound like a tornado fills the room. Without thinking, I grab Jaina's arm. The amber bulb flickers and the blank wall behind Grandpa's bed comes alive with moving figures. Shadows, human-like yet otherworldly, dance along the wall, bathed in the amber light from my father's cube. Mesmerized, Jaina and I watch as the dark masses join together and then break apart again and again. Half a dozen figures turn into a dozen and then twice that and then twice that again. Excitement courses through my body. Woofus is barking loudly. I know I should silence him. My parents will come running into the room at any minute and Jaina and I will be discovered. But my mouth and my body are paralyzed. I feel like what I imagined Marie Curie must have felt when she discovered radium. I am full of awe as my mind scrambles to make sense of things. Then I remember how Marie Curie died. All euphoria drains from my body like zinc from a corroded battery. I want to unplug the machine. I truly want to, but I cannot move. The shadows have arms, long spindly arms like branches on trees. Fingers like twigs stretched towards Jaina and I. She shrinks back. I realize I am still gripping her arms. Embarrassed, I will my body to move away, but not far. Our shoulders touch. I'm still so close to her. Turn it off, Jaina screams. Her braids are blowing wildly as if a high-powered fan sits inches away from her face. The invisible fan ratchets up to the highest setting. The room is frigid. My nose runs and my fingertips turn blue. What's going on? Jaina and I whip around. Clark, my little brother, is in the doorway, shivering in his favorite canary yellow footed pajamas with the calico cat pattern. For some reason, my eyes zero in on a cat wearing sunglasses, curled up on a beach ball. I had grown out of my love for footed pajamas years ago. I hated how sweaty my feet would get and felt claustrophobic at night. But Clark is at the age where he still finds things like that to be fun. Footed pajamas are ridiculous, but my bare feet are freezing. I would give anything to trade night clothes with my brother. What are you doing up, Clark? I demand. Go back to bed. I can't tell if he is ignoring me or if he doesn't hear me over the frosty wind that whirls around us. I see my brother's lips form an O of surprise as he stares at the shadows on the wall. Being young makes you brave and foolish. While Jaina and I cower on the floor, the shadows loom ever closer, yet Clark seems unafraid. Curious, he steps forward. The shadows grow and creep overhead, painting the walls dark and gloomy. Clark continues to move toward them, reaching out a chubby hand. Suddenly, I snap out of my trance. "Clark," I yell. I try to stand, but the wind keeps my behind rooted to the carpet. Woofus barks furiously now. He tries to barrel into the room. An unseen force field keeps him at bay. I hear my mom scream. My parents cross the short distance from their room down the hall to Grandpa's room. Dad's mouth is wide open. He is shouting, yelling maybe, but I can't hear him over the howling wind. They try to come into the room but are marooned like woofus on the far side of the doorway. Mom's lips are moving. Her voice is stolen, carried away by the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh of the wind. But I read her lips clearly as he screams my brother's name. Finally, I drag myself to my feet. I feel as though 1,000 leaden weights are piled on my shoulders. I try to get to Clark, but my legs won't move. The shadows descend upon us. A chill enters my bones. I fear they may shatter into 1 billion pieces like fallen icicles. Jaina screams. I can hear her. She is always so very loud. I scream my brother's name, but I can't hear my own voice. Thank you for listening. This is my little book that could. I wrote this in one of the darkest periods of my life, and this is proof positive that you can do anything you put your mind to. You can even change the world. So I encourage everybody to look for the light in the darkness. If you don't see it out there, it's within you. Have a great day. Make sure you buy my book. Hit me up on Instagram and press on towards the goal. Bye.